Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we're going to make a memory wire bracelet using some products from my own stash and some products from the Bargain Bead Box April 2022 edition. But first, our encouraging word for today is don't stop believing. And I would sing for you all, but you would never watch my video again if I did that, so I won't. Alright, so what you're going to need are some loops of memory wire. I have some gold. This is just bracelet size memory wire. And I have, when I cut my memory wire, I'm just going to show you, I like to put little dangles on the ends of it. So I like to make sure when I cut it that I have one end on one side and one end kind of on the other side. So if you can see, there's one here and one over here. I don't like them to be side by side because I like the dangles to hang kind of separately. And what I've done on this one, let me untangle him, is I have cut, why are you getting tangled up? Don't do this. Okay, so I have cut, if you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full loops. And I've taken a black Sharpie, I don't know if you can see that black line there on this middle right here, and I've marked my middle strand because, or my middle wire, because I want to put this decorative element here in the very middle, okay? So I have got a total, counting this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this one 7 loops. You want an odd number because you want to be able to put that decorative element in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I am going to roll toward the middle, okay, just a small loop. This is just going to keep my beads from falling off, and you want to make sure it's closed all the way. So there it is. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you the beads that I'm using first. So I've got, this is a lot of stuff that was left over from this month's Bargain Bead Box. Now if you're not familiar with Bargain Bead Box, it is a monthly beading subscription service. It's delivered to your door for $19.98 a month in America. I'm not sure about other countries, but it's a lot of really great beads, gemstone beads, sparkly beads, and some findings and stuff. And like I said, shipped to your door for $20 a month. So it's a really nice deal. And my camera keeps sliding. I think I may have to tape it. It's a really good deal and I love it. I've been getting Bargain Bead Box for years. I'm looking for my tape in case you're wondering. Maybe it's going to stay there. I don't know. I think it's very slowly sliding. My tripod is not the best. I do have it taped, but there we go. Let me see if I can tighten that up. Okay, maybe that'll work. Okay. Anyway, when you subscribe to Bargain Bead Box, you get a 30% off coupon to use in their sister store. You can use it over and over and over all month long, and you get it every month. So it really is a great deal. So check out, I have a whole entire playlist of Bargain Bead Box unboxings and a whole entire playlist of orders that I've ordered from their store if you want to see kind of what, you know, the products are like. All right, I'll have all the information in the description box below. So here are 2 of the metal beads. That's all I had left. This bead is just a bead that I pulled out of my own stash, and I liked it because it pulls in this green, and it pulls in this kind of creamy color, and you can use any bead, any focal bead that you have. These 2 barrel beads were the only 2 left out of the box this month. And then I'm using some of the bicones. I've got all of them here that are left. So I've got 4 for this focal element, 2 of the rondelles, and here's the rest of them. And then I pulled these little rhinestone beads out of my stash. I like them because they're dark, like these greens. So we're going to use them. And then I have pulled the darkest shades of the agate out. So here's the rest of it. And I may end up having to use a couple of them, but I wanted to pull just the darker greens out right here because I feel like that it just looks better than all the light mixed in. And then I have some of these 5-petal bead caps. These are on my website if you're interested. You'll need some bead caps if you want. It's not necessary, just if you want them. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to try to make this with this focal element in the middle. So what I want to do is I want to use my bicones and my rondelles on both ends and then put all the greens in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to move this aside for a second. Let's see what we have. Let me make sure I've got them all out of my container, and I do. Okay, so here's what we've got. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, so I'm going to put 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on either end. 4, 6, 8, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay, separate those out. Do the same for your bicones. So I've got 2 here, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2, and maybe one left over. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. How in the world did I? 17. All right, 2, 4, 6, 8. This should not be this hard. 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Okay, there we go. So they both should have an 18, and I've got 4 here for the middle piece. Good grief, that was more difficult than it needed to be. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my memory wire, and I am going to alternate bicones. Well, you know what? That's not going to work either because I have way more. So let me see here. 2, 1. I'm just trying to develop a pattern here that will actually use all of my beads. So let me see if I can do this real quick. You have to think about these things when you're designing. So if I just alternated bicone, rondelle, bicone, I would have way more bicones than rondelles, but if I do it this way, I have just enough, okay? So this is what we're going to do. Bicone, bicone, rondelle. And you know, I'm wondering, I do want to pull in some of the bead caps down here. I definitely need to. Yep. Okay, so we're going to do bicone, bicone, bead cap, rondelle, bead cap, because I definitely need some of the metals to be in this bottom layer or it's going to be weird looking. Bead cap, rondelle, bead cap. Memory wire bracelets I love because they look like you have on multiple layers of bracelets, and they're super easy to make, but they can be a little bit complex in the design. So, you know, if you want a certain focal element in the middle, you have to really try to plan that out accordingly because it's just loops and loops, and you have to be kind of careful. So knowing that if you want a middle strand to have a focal, then you know that you need to use an odd number of loops. And then you need to plan each end out to match in order to do your middle as a focal. So you just have to kind of think it through with memory wire bracelets. But I love them. I think they're beautiful. And I think they look complex when they're really not. They can be if you don't think it through, but if you think it through, they're really not that hard. So I'm just continuing to do 2 bicones, a bead cap, a rondelle, and a bead cap, and we're just creating a pattern. And that's another thing with memory wire. I like to do a complete pattern for at least a half a round, maybe a whole round. I don't like to mix a lot of different beads just randomly on there. I feel like it makes it look messy and not cohesive. So I'm kind of picky about how I do them. But that's just me. It just totally is up to your own creative control, and you may like that look. I don't. I feel like that mine never turn out looking good if I mix a bunch of stuff together. So I try to do patterns with these. All right, so here is our first. So these are, I'm going to pull them all down. They are all on this one end, and that we're going to finish it with the same pattern on the other end once we do our middle. Okay, so let's get these all down. They're being contrary. There we go. Nope, I'm coming back the other way, aren't I? There we go. Okay, so we've got them all down to the end now. And that's what we have, okay? Just like that. So now, I am going to use these and these. I probably am going to end up having to use all of these greens. I don't know. And I want to use some of the bead caps on these greens. I'm almost tempted to pull out some spacers, just regular, I don't know though, antique bronze spacers. Well, let's see what we've got here. So I think what I will do for these here, and I need to go all the way up. Let me find, there's my black mark. So I really need to go to the beginning of that strand or that loop on either side. So let's do this. Let's go. And I need to, wait a minute, I need to do the same thing here that I did on the other side. So I have two. I've got to separate these out or I'll end up. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, we're good there. Now let's look at these. So 2, 4, 6. Let's do 2, 4, 6, 8, 8, 10, 10, 12, 12, 14, 14. I'm just trying to pick out the darker ones. 16, 16, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, I have one more over there. Which one do I want to pull out? That one's pretty dark. All right, I would like to not use those lighter ones if I don't have to. Let me see. I'm going to try to pull out some antique bronze spacers. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got these antique bronze wavy spacers. These are available on my website if you're interested in them, and I've got them in a bunch of colors. But I think I'm going to use them in between some of these beads. Okay, so we're all the way down at the bottom here on this guy. And let's start with a green bead, 2 spacers, and I like to put these, if you can see, they are wavy. So if you put them back to back, they kind of have a neat little texture element to them. And I really like to use them that way. I'm going to do another of these. I'm going to do these again, back to back. So you just take it and you find the curvy parts of both and stick that together. Then I'm going to do this guy. Let's go all the way down and just look at it. Okay, so that is what I've got. So I'm going to do the spacers again, back to back. And then I'm going to repeat that pattern. So I've got this little agate, my spacer beads, back to back, another agate, my spacer beads back to back, and my pretty rhinestone bead. my spacer beads back to back. And if I don't use all of the rhinestone beads, I'm not going to be upset about that. I really like them, and I kind of hate to use all of them up. So I just pulled all of them out that I had, but I kind of want to keep a few. Okay, so let's move this on down. And we'll see what we've got going on here. Okay, so I am loving the way this is looking. It's really cool. The spacers just add a ton to it. Okay, so I'm now on my next agate. I'm going to do the spacers back to back. And I like to put everything down and kind of view it just to make sure that it's looking like I want it to look and that I'm not messing up or missing anything, because that's entirely possible. Okay, and then we're going to do these back to back again. An agate bead, back to back spacers, agate, back to back spacers, rhinestone, back to back spacers, agate, spacers, agate, spacers again, and rhinestone. Now I kind of want to evaluate where I'm at on my layers here. Okay, so here's what we've got. I need, let me find my black mark. Where's my black mark? Okay, here it is. It's fading, but that's my middle strand. So I need to go around quite a bit more. I'm just going to keep on doing this and see, hopefully it'll reach where I need it to reach to. Spacers, agate, spacers. If it doesn't, I can always add in more of the agate beads, even though I don't have a lot of the rondelles or the rhinestone beads. I can always add in more of the agate beads and just lead up to that middle thing. Okay, let's go all the way down with this. We need 2 spacers and a rhinestone bead. 2 spacers, agate, 2 spacers, agate, 2 spacers, rhinestone, and then I'm going to do my other 2 agate beads here, and we'll see where we're at with it. 2 spacers, agate, 2 spacers, and agate, and I'm going to do, did I start with 2 spacers? No, I started with the agate, so I'm just going to leave it. Okay, now let's see what we've got. So here's where we are. I'm looking for my black mark. Okay, my black mark is right here. So we're actually not very far from where we need to be, because you need a little bit of this round to put this decorative element on. So let's pull this in here. And I think I'm going to take, let's see. Let me measure this. Let me see how long this is going to be when I'm done with it. So I've got that. I wanted to do bead caps like this. No, wait. Bead caps like this. Okay. Another bead cap here, this rondelle, another bead cap here, this rondelle, this guy, and this guy. Okay, so let's see how long that is. And it's kind of stretched out, so you need to take off like a little bit. But right now it looks like it's about I'm going to say it's about 3.5 inches long. And let me see how much I've got to get up to my black mark, because that would be 1.5 inches of, and I've got way more than that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bead this on just like I've got it here. So this, this, this. And if you notice on these barrel beads, I'm putting the bead cap facing away from it. I just like the way that looks. I think it's kind of cool that way. Let's go, wait a minute. Make sure I get it on there right. So I'm going to do my whole little focal thing here. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do to make this work. We're just not going to need quite as much wire as we thought. So let's go here. Barrel bead, right? Yeah. Okay, there it is. Make sure I'm doing it right. Okay, and then this guy. And our bicon. Okay, so here's what I've got. So I'm on my 3rd strand right here. It's looking pretty good. I like it. So I'm going to just go now and go completely backwards with my pattern. So I've got my agate, my spacers, my agate, and I want to make sure that I'm following the pattern exactly. My spacers. Okay, so you can compare it over here. Agate, spacers, rhinestone. Agate, spacers, rhinestone. Spacers. Agate. Spacers, and I am putting the spacers back to back with each other. Agate. Spacers. Rhinestone. Okay, and we're just going to keep doing this. Spacers, agate. So we're doing an agate, a spacer, an agate, spacers, and then rhinestone. 2 agates and a rhinestone with spacers in between until we use all these up, because we did measure, we counted, so we know that we're going to have the same amount on both ends. That's what's important here, really. Spacers. It's going to be really pretty. I love this dark green, this emerald. It's always been one of my favorite colors. I need a shirt that's this color. I don't have any, I don't think, but I need to find one because I think I'm going to keep this bracelet. I like it. Okay, rhinestone. Back to back. Agate. I really love the texture that these wavy spacers give. We're just keeping up the same pattern until we use up all of these little beads over here. And because we measured the same amount per side, we know it's going to come out even, like we need it to. Almost done. I'm going to have to pull out a few more spacers though. Takes a lot to do them back to back like that, but I think the effect is really cool. Okay, our last rhinestone. And our last two agates. Okay, and we did not, when we started it back over here, we just did the agate. We didn't do spacers, so I'm not going to do 2 more spacers after that one. And now we're going to go back to this pattern on the bottom. So if you can see here, we have our agate and then a bead cap, or rondelle, bead cap, bicone, bicone, bead cap, rondelle, bead cap. So we're going to do that pattern over until we finish with these. Not this. Okay. So we have our, let me make sure. Yeah, bead cap. Let's see, make sure I put it on the right way too. Okay, bead cap, rondelle, bead cap, and then 2 bicones. And we're going to do that until we complete all of these, use all of these beads up. Rondelle, bead cap, and 2 bicones. And because we measured our beads out and made sure that we had the same amount on either end, this is going to come out looking the same on either end, like it's supposed to. Okay. Okay, last few here. Rondelle, bead cap, and I'm going to have to pull out some more bead caps, it looks like. Bead cap, 2 bicones, bead cap, rondelle, whoops, bead cap, 2 bicones, and let me pull out one more set of bead caps because that's what we need. Where are they? There's one and 2. Okay, so bead cap, whoops. Bead cap, rondelle, bead cap, and 2 bicones. Okay, so now here is what we have. We have our pretty little bracelet. We have our focal piece right here in the middle, and our ends come out pretty much the same on either side as well. So that's really good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my memory wire cutters, and you want to make sure that you have this all pulled down tight, okay? Because it's easy to not realize that something is off. So cut it with your memory wire cutters and leave enough room to roll your loop under, okay? And then we're going to take our round nose pliers and we're going to roll that loop under just like we did on the other end. Okay, now I've got a little too much. I'm going to trim off just a little bit more because I don't want it to be too big. There we go. And close it all the way up. Make sure that you get this touching so that your bicones don't want to go up in there, okay? And here is what we have. And I think it's stunning. I love it. Now, I do like to make dangles to put on either end. I just think it makes it cute. So I'm going to pick out what I have here. I've got these two that are pretty similar. Let's do that. And I don't have any more of the bicones or any more of the rondelles, but I do have a couple bead caps here. So I'm just going to pull out 4 more of these little bronze or antique bronze bead caps. I'm going to get 2 head pins. Okay, here we have them. And I'm just going to make a little dangle to put on the ends of these loops. Just like this. I am going to bend this guy 90 degrees. I'm going to do a wrapped loop. Bend it 90 degrees here. And then I'm going to come up and over. Oops. Rotate my pliers up and come around. And I'm just going to go ahead and insert it onto here. And then I'll wrap it. Just you could hook it on with a jump ring if you wanted, but I kind of like to do it this way. Grab it. And then let me grab my other chain nose pliers. And then we'll take it and just wrap. And I like to do a nice, messy little wrap. And then just trim it. And you want to go ahead and tuck it. Make sure nothing's sticking out that's going to snag on your clothes or anything, okay? And there's our one little dangle. Super cute. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Did I lose my bead? Oh, here he is. Okay. And you don't have to do this. I just feel like it gives it such a nice little decorative touch. But again, it is totally unnecessary. Just optional. Same thing over here, just putting it on. And I'm going to grab here with my pliers. Try not to get your bead in the way because you can crush your bead accidentally. I've done that before many times. And then just going around several times. Making a messy little loop. Messy little wrap. Alright. We'll give this a trim. Right there. Tuck it. And here we have our memory wire bracelet. So let's put it on, see what it looks like. I like it. I love all the bling and the sparkle, of course. Y'all know I do. Just turn it around. And there we have it. And you can, with a memory wire bracelet, if you find that it gets stretched out where you're making it, you can just kind of squeeze it back together again, put it on your wrist and just kind of squeeze it tight. and it will retain its shape. But there it is. I really like it. I love the sparkle and the bling. I think it turned out really nice. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're interested in bargain bead box, I will have all the information in the description box below. And check out my website. It is back open from where we moved, and I do have new mystery bags up. They're $10.99 a bag, and they have a lot of really cool stuff in them. So check that out if you're interested. I'll link everything in the description box below the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.